Another beautiful night in Portland, Oregon, as Portland Timbers 2 gets ready to face Rio Grande Valley FC Toros, the new USL affiliate of the Houston Dynamo, the first ever meeting between these two sides from Merlo Field on the campus of the University of Portland. I'm Jake Zivin alongside Ross Smith. Both of these teams, Ross, without a point at this juncture in the season for T2. 0-2, lost to Vancouver in the home opener on Sunday 3-1. What's the message to the group tonight heading into this match?
The message will be to the players to go out and enjoy your soccer. And you do that by working hard and doing the right things in your position. So if you're a center back, you win your headers, you win your tackles, you command your area. If you're a holding center midfielder, you protect that back four and you make it horrible for the other team to play. If you're wide on the midfield, you get at the opposition. One-on-one situations or come inside combined, you make positive things happen. And up front, when the chances come, you score your goals. Individually, if you do your part, collectively, you're going to have a good night.
We will see for the first time, starting for T2 tonight, Victor Arboleda. Ross, he came on, played about 30 minutes on Sunday, and that was enough time to see that this is an electric player.
I just think that pace can cause all kinds of problems for the opposition, and we saw that with Victor Arboleda, this man, the other night, that he has got blinding pace, and he's always looking to go behind. So as soon as you have a player that's looking to run in behind and balls can be slipped in, then that back four, it causes all kinds of problems in their mind. They're already starting to back up. And when you have a back four backing up, then all of a sudden the space opens up around the pitch. But still, they couldn't stop Arboleda from his pace. And even given a yard or two, as we see here, he was able to gain another 3, 4, 5 yards. He just looked raw. He looked like he needed to refine that final piece, because if he had, he would have had 2 goals on the night. But an exciting young prospect for T2. And of course, for the future, you got to believe that the first team will be looking at him.
Victor Arboleda, not the only change, Ross, in the lineup tonight. 4 differences from Sunday night's squad in tonight's starting 11.
Andrew Greger has shown that he's not afraid to make the big decision, and as you mentioned, 4 changes. Taylor Pay, he comes in at center back. Brent Richards out at right back. Kasipli, he'll go into that middle of the park. And Arboleda, who we just chatted about. It'll be a 4-3-3, which is very similar to the first team. The wide men getting the ball out there, can they affect the game? And I'm looking for Bijev to have a bigger night tonight. His hold-up play and getting around the ball, being able to read the game as it's progressing through the thirds.
Andrew Greger still looking for his first win, his first points as head coach of Portland Timbers 2, the University of Portland Pilot legend coaching on the field he played in college. For Rio Grande Valley FC Toros, Ross, coached by Wilmer Cabrera, the final head coach in the history of Chivas USA. Similar mix to T2, guys signed to the Dynamo first team as well as young prospects that are based at Rio Grande Valley.
Well, we've seen with T2 how the identity matches the first team. I'm interested to see if Wilmer Cabrera follows suit with Owen Coyle's team, Houston Dynamo. Wilmer Cabrera, obviously an extensive playing career, played in the World Cup, played coach for Chivas, as you mentioned, and so his style was to encourage players to get on the ball. Houston Dynamo with Owen Coyle, he encourages his players to play, to get it to wide areas, whip balls in, play with high energy, and get out on the counter-attack. So we need to see if that style is reflected here tonight at Merlo Pitch.
One of these 2 teams, if not both, will get their first point or points of the 2016 season tonight. It's Portland Timbers 2 and Rio Grande Valley FC kickoff after the break.
This car wasn't made in Detroit, or Tokyo, or Mexico City. This, the Mini Clubman, was crafted in Oxford, England, a place where mass production isn't all that massive. And each car is engineered, customized, tuned, and crafted one at a time. Introducing the new Mini Clubman, made in Oxford.
Mini of Portland, proud sponsor of the Portland Thorns and Timbers 2. We make it fun.
We want to be a team that's expansive. We want to be a team that when we play in Merlo, fans want to come watch us play because we're exciting, because we have a good product on the field.
Space left foot, yes! Eddie, Eddie, Eddie!
You should see that the hard work that you're putting into it is working, and you should feel excited about that. We can never be satisfied with what we have to do to continue to take the next step.
Welcome back to Merlot Field. Another perfect night for soccer here on the Bluff in Portland, Oregon. About 80 degrees out. It was in the mid-80s today in Portland. Record highs for this time of year for this part of the country. Another beautiful night for soccer. Chippewa Street is the referee tonight, a senior program manager at Microsoft by day. He's a USL referee by night, in charge of this one this evening as T2 and Rio Grande Valley FC Toros get ready to meet for the first time today. Ross, what do you want to see from T2 first 15 minutes of this match as they look to try to secure their first point or points of the season?
Right away, you want to get players like Kasipli and Lewis on the ball. You want to start to have a bit of possession and going out the other side if need be through Beasler. So have that bit of possession, that confidence, that courage to get on the ball and to switch it from one side to the next. So can it go out to Nico Brett, and then if it's not on, then circulate and get it around to Arboleda. Just to have that confidence in possession to dictate the tempo and the rhythm of the game, because I felt it lacked the last match. It's time for the Timbers T2 to impose themselves right from the start.
Against Vancouver on Sunday, Wade Hamilton had a lot to do. First 5 minutes of that match kept T2 in the match, kept it scoreless on 3 occasions. T2 hoping for a better start this evening as T2 kicks off, and we're underway for Merlot Field. Portland Timbers 2 and Rio Grande Valley FC Toros. Marco Farfan getting his 3rd straight start. The Academy, Portland Timbers Academy member, junior in high school, out there once again for T2 at left back. Colin Warner turning in the midfield. He's a member of the Houston Dynamo, making what's essentially a rehab start tonight for Rio Grande Valley, coming back from an off-season hamstring strain, getting his first official minutes of the year tonight. Because Sipley played the ball forward, no one was there for T2. George Malky, big switch, picks out Jose Escalante. Outside of the left foot, creative effort, but it's over the bar.
Half-hearted by Escalante as the ball just quite sit down. The purpose wasn't quite there from him to really attack it. Was in 2 minds.
Warner wins it in the midfield. Escalante gets by Arboleda. Out wide, Memo Rodriguez can't get to it. He probably could have, and he eventually does in the end. Badly misjudged that ball. Farfan eventually sends it out for an RGV throw. Rodriguez looking for Katic in the box. Pay puts it high into the air. Hamilton is able to catch.
Good take by Wade Hamilton. I chatted at length about him in the last match. I think he's a real promising young keeper. He commands his area. He's loud. You certainly know he's on the pitch. He's always directing, but he looks clean on crosses and his saves. He's always confident. Good reactions.
Bijev out wide, Nico Brett. Back to Bijev, but those two not on the same page. Bijev wasn't making the run Brett thought he was going to make, and it's cleared by RGV. Taylor Pay wearing the armband tonight for T2 as he did in their first match against Swope Park. Pressure from Bijev. Still not out of danger. Finally, Sebastian Ibiaga gets it clear.
It's good from Bijev. Just put in Ibiaga under pressure and just forcing the case. And now the Timbers get back on that ball. You need to press from the front. And again, you go back to T2 mirroring what the first team do. And that's exactly how Caleb Porter looks to play.
Oh, Hamilton slips. Ends up being all right. Richards lost it and then was fouled by Jose Escalante. Brent Richards making his first appearance for T2 this year. Former Portland Timbers homegrown player, Colin Warner, nifty touch from the veteran to get around Andre Lewis, but then sent it too far for Escalante.
Looks big and powerful, Colin Warner, in the midfield there, and his experience, you'll be looking for him to boss that midfield, to string some passes together. He's one that's going to open you up with his creativity, but he's certainly one that can tackle, can break things up, he can provide the simple passes.
Rodriguez trying to play through for Bird. There's a puddle on the pitch. It's a beautiful night, and it hasn't rained in a few days here in Portland. You wonder where that's come from, but we've seen it a couple times hold up the ball on the left side there in RGV's attacking hand.
You've got the sprinkler system in, so you just wonder where in the warm-up was one of the sprinklers left on a little bit too long.
Yeah, you'd think this pitch here at Merlot Field, known to be one of the best in the country, and it is always in pristine condition, but as you mentioned, the sprinkler system has seemed to leave some puddles today. Hope, of course, it does not affect the match as George Malky sends it to midfield. We were talking about Colin Warner a second ago. He knows about Merlot Fields. It's a homecoming of sorts for him. Played for the Portland Pilots in college, 2006 to 2009. Very good player here at Portland. And Merlot was a 15th overall pick of the 2010 Super Draft. Played for Montreal, Real Salt Lake, Toronto FC before being traded just before this year's MLS opener to Houston from Toronto. Making his way back to fitness, playing a match now on his old college pitch with Rio Grande Valley.
That's good shape from T2 early on, just as Rio Grande Valley FC tried to switch the point of play to go from one side to the next, knocking it about. We've seen T2, their midfielder in particular, just staying connected and shifting together.
Arboleda trying to get behind Bourgeois. And Arboleda is called for a foul.
Bourgeois did very well, just to use his strength, use his position. He saw the pass early, and he just got into the line of the run of Arboleda, and he just wouldn't allow Arboleda to get away.
Arboleda was last week against Vancouver on the right side, able to almost have his way getting behind the Vancouver back line.
I always think at times in a game you need to open things up, and it's an entire body of work that you may not get the space you want right away, but you got to continue to make those runs. And so if the ball's being played in behind and you're not always getting on the end of it, what you're doing is you're forcing that left back to cheat and to start already making that run, and then you come back towards the ball, opens you up, you get on the ball, and then you can run 1v1. So it's all these little mind games that I think as a youngster you have to learn about in order to create those openings.
Victor Arboleda is still just 19 years old. Signed by T2 this offseason, was with Deportivo Cali in Colombia, one of the biggest clubs in Colombia. Bourgeois. Charlie Ward. Out wide, George Malky. Pay gets it clear.
That's such a good line from T2, and already what's apparent to me, Jake, is how loud the back line is commanding, and coming from the back of Hamilton, he's shouting, get up, drop back. All those little things help to keep everybody on the same page.
Arboleda wanted the ball sent over the top, didn't get it. Farfan's able to win it back for T2. Nico Brett is going to go one-on-one with George Malky, cuts inside. Bijev is offside. The flag is up. Better start, though, from T2 Ross than last week against Vancouver.
It looks promising, and the run is there, the ball is there, the space certainly has opened up, but Bijev just a little too eager to get into that position, just seemed to arc his runner to come back a yard. before he went towards that ball, but a very good run and spot by Brett to cut inside and then to see that run by Bijev.
William Bijev still looking for his first goal for T2. Richards clears it into the middle of the pitch. Gallagher has to help it towards midfield. Too heavy of a touch from Nico Brett.
Just seen with RG, the FC, they look to be playing a 4-4-2, but number 10, Birdie's more withdrawn. He's coming back towards that ball to try and play in those pockets in behind that midfield. Kaltic, he looks a big figure. Just wonder how he is for size in terms of hold-up play and being able to get on the ball. He too is taking times coming back into the midfield looking for that possession.
Jenin Katic, 6'3", 185 pounds. Spent last season with the Philadelphia Union, didn't play. Signed with Rio Grande Valley in the offseason. Rodriguez. Hamilton's able to collect.
Talk about the organization of the back line, and it's certainly going to help when you have the experience of a player like Taylor Pay coming back, and Brent Richards, of course, who's been around the club for a few years. He knows what the system's all about. He knows what this level is all about, and so right away you have a solid right side to your defense, and that reverberates right the way through that back line and players in front of you.
Brent Richards was signed by the Timbers as a homegrown player in January of 2012. The Timbers' first ever homegrown signing. Very promising as a rookie in 2012, and suffered a very serious knee injury in 2013. Took him 2 years to get back on the pitch. Finally did for T2 last year. He's now in his second season with Portland Timbers 2, making his first appearance of the year. Richards and Arboleda run into each other.
That's well done by Casipli, just cleaning things up, making sure that that ball doesn't bounce to the opposition and putting it back to the keeper. They've had the better of the ball, RGV FC, but haven't gone anywhere with it. They're unable to find the openings. They're drifting in players, pulling them here and there with the movement, trying to unbalance T2, but they're not able to find any openings thus far.
Colin Warner slips right in front of the Timbers Army. Gets some jeers for that. Ibiaga sent into the corner. Bourgeois runs it down. Gallagher, Casipli help it towards midfield. T2 will try to break on the counter. Arboleda has Brett making a run. Played it to him, but a little too late. T2 will get a throw out of it.
Took too long to make his decision. Didn't quite know what to do with the space in front of him as Bourgeois got caught upfield as he joined in with the attack, and all that space then was left for Arboleda to run into. As you say, he was in two minds. Do I pass it? Do I run into space? Do I carry the ball? Such a high line from RGV, and just a non-opportunity. Taylor Pay, he picked his head up. He could have knocked it into the midfield to Casipli, but he was looking for a run. But Bijev, the tendency to want to come back towards the ball instead of looking to stretch that back line. But again, I go back to, if you're making that run, it may not be on for you, but it's unselfish because then you're perhaps opening things up for other players.
Bourgeois, Jenin Katic. Beasler breaks it up.
Good step, great step.
Nothing on for Bijev, who will press high. Devin Perales didn't get his clearance to midfield. Lewis is able to win it back.
It's a good test for that center midfield for T2 to go up against a player like Colin Warner, who's had experience in MLS. He's had first team games at that level, and he's been an impact player in certain times. And so that's your chance for T2 to see, okay, how do I compare then to what you would consider an MLS player? And that's where you want to impress not only your coaches, but everybody who's watching there, to say that you're at that standard, that you're able to not only hang in, but to control the game over another MLS player.
Colin Warner, 29 matches for Toronto FC last year, 20 the year before that. He's played in over 140 matches in MLS since coming into the league in 2010. On the ball now for Rio Grande Valley. Katic into space. Escalante didn't have the speed to get there. It's easy for Hamilton.
T2 were let off there because there was all kinds of space in behind. If the ball was right, Escalante had room to run into. Again, it's a sense that RGV are running out of ideas as they pick their heads up. They're not seeing runs up front going in behind, and they're having to put in a hopeful ball. But right the way you see, as soon as one player's going up, like Gallagher there's other T2 players around, so they're willing to deal with any seconds that are coming off.
Warner, Escalante, he is onside. Hamilton gets a punch, still might be there for Katic. And what was not really an open net, Taylor Pay was able to get it clear. Good opportunity, certainly, though, for RGV. Still there, maybe, sent over the bar by Memo Rodriguez.
Well, the warning sign was a few minutes ago when that space opened up in behind the T2 line, but the final ball wasn't there. This time it was, and it needed a very good read by Hamilton to come out and to get his paws on it, because otherwise Escalante was looking to flick that ball, and he was very close to being the first one there if it wasn't for the pace and the reactions and the decisions by Hamilton.
Hamilton was caught out of his goal after that punch, but the ball just kind of sat up long enough for Pay and Richards to recover, and never felt it was too threatening from Katic. But again, it's Wade Hamilton, Ross, called upon. He's been called upon a lot this season, and he's done well. Has let in 5 goals, but I think that 2.5 goals against average is a bit misleading.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that last play, Taylor Pay and Gallagher, they got to go back to each other and have a little conversation there to figure out what's happened there. Saw that space now. 2 situations in a row where we've squeezed up far too much, and we've left all kinds of room for players to run into.
Richards with the defensive header. Warner tries to bring it down. T2 might be able to break. Lewis can't get it forward. Pay's clearance is blocked. Escalante from distance, curling effort saved, and the follow-up is saved again. 2 fantastic saves from Wade Hamilton, keeps it level.
Again, Hamilton's called upon, and they are 2 miraculous saves. His reaction to get down and back up after that first one to make that second save. But I'm going to be a little bit harsh because I know his standard. I think he will feel after that first one he should have pushed it further to the side instead of pushing it back into play for another opportunity. But you say that, he got back up and he made that second save.
Corner kick for RGV, and it is the opening goal. Bradley Bourgeois off the corner has given RGV a 1-0 lead. And for the 3rd time this season, T2 concedes first.
RGV make T2 punish. They punish them for lack of marking as Bourgeois just comes in, drifting along that 6-yard line, completely unmarked. And he rises up above any T2 player. The timing's right. The leap soars over any other player, and he's got the contact and the power to take it beyond Hamilton.
That is the first goal in the history of Rio Grande Valley FC. Bradley Bourgeois in the 18th minute has given RGV a 1-0 lead.
There was a T2 player that released to go win that ball, but the timing was off. As you can see, just went to win it and was never getting there.
T2 hoping for a quick response, but Brett couldn't connect. Bijev lays off for Lewis, sends Brett through. The flag is up. Nico Brett was offside.
That's disappointing because that's such good play, going right through the middle. I don't think the C player's given the ball away yet. Every chance that ball's come into him, he's made a simple pass, but a clever one. And there, it's close, it's very close. But I would say Brett, he can see that entire line. He sees the play developing. He's got the space. He's got to time his run better. He's got to make sure he is onside because he got himself into a good area. And if he did, he was bearing down on goal.
Nico Brett, second round pick of the Timbers in the Super Draft. Signed to the Portland Timbers first team, playing on loan, getting his third start for T2. Biesler draws a foul in the midfield. Lewis into the corner, trying to take advantage of the pace of Victor Arboleda. He's out into touch, but the first time that in a while that they've been probing that space behind Bourgeois.
Bourgeois done a nice job just to deal with Arboleda this early. We haven't seen much of Arboleda, and so that ball in behind's not on. Mentioned it before early in the match. You got to start coming back towards the ball, and we often see with the first team, with the likes of if Darlington Nagley's playing on wide right, then he'll start to venture infield to go looking for the ball, to get his touches on it, to build that confidence and to start pulling defenders out of their holes.
Kasipli, Bijev, Bourgeois, back to Perales. Pressure from William Bijev. Perales is able to get it forward. Richards called for a foul.
Richards doesn't need a foul there, just needs to stand them up. They're not going anywhere as that ball comes in. It's a chance to press and allow for a recovering midfielder to come back off the front and try and win it.
Saw Michael Della Russo, assistant coach for Rio Grande Valley FC, was in charge of Arizona United before coming to RGV. Wilmer Cabrera's lieutenant for this squad. Lewis over the top, but nobody making a run, nobody there.
To say that's very poor by Lewis. He was a player coming in tonight, looking forward to seeing his play, and in those situations where you don't have the ball for a period of time, RGV, they've controlled the ball this far in the matches. You want your midfielders to get on that ball and make those simple 5-10 yard passes, keep the ball for a spell. But instead he decides to go for that big killer pass where it was never on, and all of a sudden you see the T2 players, the rest of them, just hang their heads.
Is there a risk of trying to do too much? Obviously, the motivation for everybody in this match is to try to make it to the first team, whether it be for the Timbers or the Dynamo. Can you get caught up in trying to do too much to impress, knowing that that's hanging over you when playing in a match like this?
That's, I think, the inexperience, is that you want to show everybody what you're about, but you want to show everybody what you're about in these small little moments where you have to think, I've got the entire game to show, and whether that's in the 70th minute where my true creativeness comes out of me, then so be it. But you got to work to that point, and you got to work and grow your game and see how it evolves as the match progresses.
Arboleda takes it off Bourgeois, sends Bijev through, but just out of the reach. Taylor Pay picks out Nico Brett open on the far side. Farfan overlapping. Farfan to the back post. Nobody there. It's out for a goal kick. The Portland Timbers and Thorns are currently offering an exciting camp program for soccer players of all ages and skill levels, from 5 to 13 years of age. Each camp focuses on age-appropriate activities designed to develop technical excellence and build a love for soccer. To sign up for those camps, visit portlandtimbers.com. Arboleda tried to get it through to Lewis, but broken up by RGV.
Just looking to force things when that pass was never on, but he did come inside to try and combine and get his foot on the ball. I talked about his rawness. Now he needs to refine his feet because he's got the pace, but he has to be able to accept the ball with players around him and to get out of situations.
Because Sipley saw the space there, but Arboleda was coming back to the ball. Andrew Greger encouraging his guys. What's the message from Andrew Greger? 25th minute again, team finds themselves trailing in the first half.
He's seen it in a few spells where they've cut open RGV, is when they've gotten on the ball and they've strung together 4 or 5 passes, that the openings are there. And the quality of pass when those instances, those passages of play have been there. T2 have been able to get to good positions, and whether that's out to Nico Brait or going through the middle to Bishev. So he's seen promise in it. You want more of it. You want it in longer stretches. But again, that comes with the patience and willing to put your foot on the ball. And if it takes 10 passes before an opening comes about, then so be it.
Third straight match, T2 is conceded first. First time that they've given up a goal in the first half. First 2 matches saw scoreless first 45 minutes before the games opened up after the break.
They've been let down, T2, just their quality with their passes. Farfan, that's another instance. He had a cross that he could have put in better a few minutes ago, and that last little pass got away from him.
Sipley was looking for Brett, couldn't get it to him. Rodriguez to Warner, back to Memo Rodriguez. Jose Escalante tried to nutmeg Brent Richards.
He's got a nice left foot, Escalante. We saw earlier the strike that he had, which required a save from Hamilton.
Finally, T2 wins a throw. Jose Escalante on loan from Olympia, the Honduran Giant. Played for the Honduras U20 team in last year's FIFA Under-20 World Cup. Andre Lewis into space for Arboleda, finally on the ball on the right side. That cross is blocked, and Perales was able to keep it from going out for a corner. He had to get there quick.
Again, I think Arboleda, he's trying to figure out what to do with that ball. Does he get it out of his feet and put in a cross? And when he's going for that the first time, it was stuck underneath him, so he had to move the ball again. I think that's where you need a run of games, to go back and you watch your matches just to see, I could have done this in this situation. And so all that reflection then when you go on to your matches, you start to see those openings again that you've seen in the videotape, and you make better decisions.
Bourgeois is offside.
There's no way.
You can hear very clearly what Bradley Bourgeois thinks of that call.
I think it was the right call in his mind. He's had a strong first half. Bourgeois, though, getting those distances right with Arboleda. Going back that last time that Arboleda had the ball put it in the cross, Bourgeois was nice and tight to make sure that ball wasn't going in.
Lewis can't quite get it to Bijev. Warner draws the foul.
What Warner does so well is to win those battles, those instances where he can get possession back and hold off defenders and just wait for that contact to come in and draw a foul.
Bourgeois. Escalante in the box, goes down, penalty kick called. Richards takes down Escalante as judged by Chippewa Street. And for the third straight match, T2 has conceded a penalty kick.
Well, Escalante has proved a menace, and as he just gets himself into the area, all of a sudden, you worry as a defender, and Brent Richards, he sticks out a leg. There's little complaint as the referee rightfully points to the spot.
Wade Hamilton has faced 2 PKs already this season. Both have been successful. Third straight match. He's gonna have to face one. It's Katic, and he sneaks it under Hamilton. And it's a 2-0 lead for RGV.
Katic makes no mistake as he doubles the lead. Waits for the referee's whistle, and he's got a spot in his mind. Hamilton, he decides the red area, but the direction is perfect from Katic, and the pace is enough to take it beyond Hamilton. I have to say it is a rather calm and cool penalty by Katic.
Third straight match, T2 has conceded a PK. Third straight match, T2 has conceded first. And the third straight match, T2 has gone down 2-0. All trends that will not make T2 head coach Andrew Greger very happy. Meanwhile, after the penalty kick was taken, an early substitution from Rio Grande Valley FC. TJ Kastner has come into the match. Eric Bird has come off. Bird kind of gesturing to his left hamstring as he left the match. So Kastner on, Bird off. First of 5 subs allowed in USL for RGV. Bourgeois, big switch. Farfan keeps Kastner from getting his first touch of the match. And then comes forward the young Marco Farfan looking for Villian Bijev. Ibiaga didn't do very well to clear it. Farfan sent into the box looking for Nico Brett. Ibiaga got his head to it first.
Good ideas from Farfan. The first ball, I think, was clever. He saw a pass in behind, but the defender for RGV, he saw it, he read it, he got back into position. Didn't quite get the clearance, but that second ball from Farfan as well, forcing the defense to do something about it.
Arboleda again, defended well by Bradley Bourgeois. Michael Gallagher, Nick Beasler, Kasipli. Needed to put more on that touch. Beasler was able to get to it.
You see Kastner, he's gone over to that far side, and Rodriguez has come in. mentioned more, a 4-4-2 earlier. It looks more a 4-3-3 as the wide man Escalante and now Kastner on that far side look to push up. Rodriguez coming out of the midfield. The defense for T2 are having a lot of runners and a lot of bodies to deal with.
Richards coming forward from his right back spot. Still Brent Richards to the byline and wins a corner kick for T2. It'll be their first of the match.
Well, Richards got something out of it as he was continually looking for options to see how he could play out of his area. And in the end, put T2 in a good position here. Just looking when Richards got on the ball, that opening to Brett seems to be on all day long. If they can find a way out through Beasler, Nico Brett is constantly an outlet.
Kasipli into the box. Richards rose up, got his head to it. Couldn't put it on frame. Second cross in from Brett. Again, it's Richards, and he put it wide.
It's a good spell by T2. As the second phase continues, you see that Brett, he just pops himself out, gets himself sideways on. One touch to settle, and as that ball goes in, it's not a bad ball, but it's going to require an awful lot for Brent Richards to test that goal, to test the keeper.
Richards not the most obvious target on set pieces or crosses. Just 5'10", but he can get up. Very athletic player.
Those are instances where it could be a bit cleaner. Kasipli's put in a great entry pass into Bishev. But from there, there's a lack of communication and quality.
Escalante has not been shy about hitting it from distance with his left foot tonight. Sends that one well into the stands.
Well, he's feeling good about himself right now, Escalante. He had that initial strike that led to a corner kick, which led to the goal. And the last goal, he's the one who drew the penalty as he got into the box and he forced a late challenge from Brent Richards.
Kasipli breaks it up. Arboleda draws a foul. One Colombian, Wilmer Cabrera, hands it to his countryman, Victor Arboleda. T2 gets it back in play. Farfan cuts inside. Nico Brett, cross was blocked. Farfan tried to get it to Lewis.
Looks the most amount of promise down that left side with Brett and Farfan joining in. We just don't quite have that final ball yet to put it into an area for runners of T2 coming in.
Kasipli was trying to find Nico Brett. Couldn't get the ball right. Kastner breaks it up.
That's got to be better. You always say if anything, you go bigger than what you need to. You put it out for a throw, and instead of it getting intercepted, it going to the other team's feet, and they can come back down on a counterattack.
George Malky. Memo Rodriguez, Escalante. Try to cross this time, and it's a corner kick for Rio Grande Valley.
YGV, they're good on the ball, and T2 just pulled to one side of the pitch, and Brent Richards had to come over to make up that area that Nick Beasler that he left. And as soon as Brent Richards came across the opening for Escalante, who was in all kinds of space, was there, but Brent Richards did well to recover back in.
Bijev with a defensive header on this corner, but still not out of danger. Rodriguez, Escalante wants it back. It'll be a goal kick for T2.
Good to stop the cross by T2, but just feel that RGV, they're stronger on the ball. They look more like it. And when you're getting players who are comfortable on that ball and looking to get on it, that's where openings and start happening. You're getting more movement, whereas T2 right now, is the quality hasn't quite been there. They're not stringing those passes together.
RGV working it around the back.
You just see with RGV, they've got about 4 front men right now, just pressing up against the back line of T2. And that's where you need players at the back organizing. You need to pick out Nick Beasler and to pull him in to help out if need be, to sit right on those toes.
Memo Rodriguez from distance, curled it wide.
Well, it worried Hamilton for a second. As the ball comes in to Rodriguez, again, Nick Beasler, he has to go towards the challenge, and Kasipli, he's trying to recover in time to be able to get a foot in. But Rodriguez, he gets the ball out of the feet. As I said, it worried Hamilton for a minute, but in the end it carried quite comfortably wide.
Malky. Gallagher wins the header.
Too long by Nick Beasler to make his decision. I think that sums up the first half in a way for the Timbers. Just a lack of decisions and quickness in decisions, and then quickness on the ball and that quality again.
Beasler stepped up to win it back. Nico Brett, maybe T2 will have a spark before halftime. Brett wins a corner kick.
That's good from Brett. Ball out wide, puts his head down, and he's got one thing in mind, is to try and get into that box and to see what happens, to see what opens up, and in the end he gets a corner out of it.
Second corner kick for T2 of the match. Seth Kasipli over the ball. Curled into the near post, flicked on. And kept in play by RGV, and then sent out for a goal kick. Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information.
For Coach Andrew Gregg announced about seeing out this first half and see what can be done in the second half, whether he changes a few tactics with the men he has on the pitch, whether a few changes could be made.
Kevin Garcia, plenty of time on the ball. Finally closed down by Andre Lewis. He goes all the way back to his keeper, Devin Perales. Brett has switched over to the right side, Arboleda on the left. Lewis comes forward. Farfan cuts inside. Bijev, still Bijev. Bijev parried over the bar by Perales.
A strong save by Perales as he gets his body across to Bijev, just well to hold off that challenge. And then when he gets that opening, he gets a good firm strike towards goal, but that all comes from Farfan, and Farfan looks willing to try and make things happen.
Corner kick sent into the near post. It was headed clear by RGV. Bijev trying to spring Brett down the left side. And Malky's able to get that off of Nico Brett. One minute of stoppage time shown by Andrew Marahart, the fourth official. Arboleda, he is onside. Victor Arboleda, and it was blocked at the last moment. I know. It was not. It just sent it wide. It was blocked at the last moment. Nobody knew it, Ross.
Well, you just wondered whether that was a miscue or whether that was a defensive recovery. I think perhaps Arboleda has just completely mistimed his strike as he gets himself there. He's in the position. It's a good ball that sends him through. Whether he just got far too excited in the position he found himself in, that it's a complete miscue, a complete mishit.
Yeah, I was my eyes deceived me. It looked in real time like Sebastian Ibeagha got there in time to send it wide, but he certainly didn't. And that may be an appropriate way to end this first half for T2. A 2-0 hole for the third straight match for T2 to try to dig themselves out of. Bradley Bourgeois and Jenin Katic, the goal scorers for RGV in the first half. We'll be back from Merlot Field. Go one-on-one with Andre Lewis, T2 center midfielder. Find out about back home nights, Sunday nights with all the Jamaicans in the organization. I had a nice talk with Andre Lewis. We'll get to know him a little bit off the pitch. When we come back at halftime, Rio Grande Valley FC 2, Portland Timbers 2-0.
Tonight, home-baked Papa Murphy's Chicken Bacon Artichoke Gourmet Delight, topped with fresh spinach, grilled chicken, artichoke hearts, and bacon. Or try the Vegetarian Gourmet Delight, topped with creamy garlic sauce and your favorite fresh vegetables on a crispy, thin crust. And at just $11 for a large, all you need for this gourmet meal is a comfy spot on the couch. Order online at papamurphys.com. Love at 425 degrees.
The world is a curious place, full of puzzles still waiting to be solved. Stonehenge, the pyramids, Easter Island, and today, another enigma rises out of the clouds. Who is the face on the tail?
This car wasn't made in Detroit, or Tokyo, or Mexico City. This, the Mini Clubman, was crafted in Oxford, England, a place where mass production isn't all that massive. And each car is engineered, customized, tuned, and crafted one at a time. Introducing the new Mini Clubman, made in Oxford.
Mini of Portland, proud sponsor of the Portland Thorns and Timbers 2. We make it fun.
There's do-it-yourself health, and then there's times when you need more. Introducing Providence Express Care. Get a same-day visit for the things you just can't treat at home. The sore throat that won't quit, that soccer sprain, the stomach ache that no pink drink can settle. We're here for you 7 days a week with extended hours to suit your life. Want fast care from folks who know health? That's Providence Express Care. Find the location nearest you today at providenceexpresscare.org.
Tonight, home-baked Papa Murphy's Chicken Bacon Artichoke Gourmet Delight, topped with fresh spinach, grilled chicken, artichoke hearts, and bacon. Or try the Vegetarian Gourmet Delight, topped with creamy garlic sauce and your favorite fresh vegetables on a crispy, thin crust. And at just $11 for a large, all you need for this gourmet meal is a comfy spot on the couch. Order online at papamurphys.com. Love at 425 degrees.
A gorgeous sunset here on the Bluff Merlot Field, the campus of the University of Portland. A spectacular setting to watch a soccer match. It's been a beautiful night to watch a match, but if you're a T2 fan, probably haven't enjoyed what you saw in the first 45 minutes. Rio Grande Valley FC, a 2-0 lead over Portland Timbers 2. Earlier this week, I got a chance to get to know Andre Lewis a little bit more, T2 center midfielder. He's from Jamaica. There are 7 Jamaicans between the Timbers and Timbers 2, and they all like to get together and hang out together one night a week. We chatted about that and more. Here's my one-on-one interview with Andre Lewis. Here with T2 midfielder Andre Lewis. Andre, your first year now with T2. You've been here just for a couple of months. What's it been like so far being in this organization in Portland?
Well, it's been really great for me the first few months. I'm here right now because, as you know, I have my boys with me, as I would say, my brothers, because, you know, we are Jamaican, and I've been with Alva since I was like maybe 14 years old, so we are really, really close, like we are buddies. And to know that I'm with him right now and other Jamaicans, and there's a plus also because his mom is here, so I enjoy. It's amazing feeling for me. It's just that we know the business part and the soccer part, you know, the friendship when we are home chilling and stuff. So I'm happy to be here. It's a great environment. Love the guys, so I'm thankful to be here.
You spend a lot of time with your fellow countrymen, you were telling me. Tell me a little bit about Sundays. You guys get together, make a meal, is that correct? Who are the chefs and what goes on when all of the Jamaicans in the organization get together?
So on Sunday, we have like something we call back home, you know, Jamaican food where Jermaine Taylor and Renico Clark, they are like the chef, the ones that can cook really, really good, you know. So they are the one that cook for us at Alva's home. So Alva's is the host for everything. So when we there, all we do is listen Jamaican music, cook food, playing FIFA and stuff. So, you know, it's a back home, Jamaica. Everyone is there. We just talking our Jamaican patois, which is what we love. So it's a great feeling being around each other.
What's the signature dish from Chef Jermaine Taylor?
Well, my favorite is curry chicken and stewed chicken when he cooked that. So we mainly cook curry chicken, stewed chicken, and something we call jack mac, which is, I don't know you guys call it, but we call it 10 mackerel in Jamaica. So that's the dish we cook like on every Sunday, you know, with plantains and other vegetables on the side. Yeah.
Sounds like really comfortable off the field for you here in Portland. Does that translate on the field? Does that make it the soccer? Does that make the playing, the business part of it better?
Yeah, exactly. It's a way more difference for me when I'm out there with them because, you know, we try to lift each other. But as you know, they are on the first team and I'm on the second team, so it's not there as yet. Hopefully, if God willing, I make the transition, which I hope that's a dream for me, to be on the first team. Well, hopefully when we know Renico Clark get back, it will be as how it be for Jermaine, Nico Brett, Michael Seaton, the guys on the first team, etc. So, yeah, when I get the opportunity to train with them, it's like a plus because whenever they see me do something, they would be like, Andre, yes, well done, you know? It's more, I would really like Caleb or his other staff to say, well done, Andre, but they are like a father to say, yes, Andre, or I would see them do something and I would be like, yes. So it's like a push that I never have in Vancouver sometime where it's called telling me, which is good, but having my boys going home together, like going back home and they would point out the good, like that was good from you, just keep it up and stuff. So that's a big plus, you know?
You seem open, obviously, about your goal to make it up to the first team. How do you achieve that?
Well, I would just have to, first I have to change me by getting my rest, putting the work that the coach Gregor wants from me, and just try to do everything right. And that it will happen, you know. Once I'm doing what I should do, what the coach say, that it will happen. Just do the right thing, you know.
Andre, thanks for the time. Welcome to Portland.
All right, thank you very much.
Sound like fun. Chef Jermaine Taylor's got to cook us up some chicken curry when we get a chance. Under Lewis, T2, big task ahead of them in the second half. We'll be back from Merlot Field, Rio Grande Valley, 2-0 up at the half.
We want to be a team that's expansive. We want to be a team that when we play in Merlot, fans want to come watch us play because we're exciting. Because we have a good product on the field.
Space left foot, yes! Eddie, Eddie, Eddie!
You should see that the hard work that you're putting into it is working. And you should feel excited about that. We can never be satisfied with what we have to do to continue to take the next step.
Tonight, home-baked Papa Murphy's Chicken Bacon Artichoke Gourmet Delight, topped with fresh spinach, grilled chicken, artichoke hearts, and bacon. Or try the Vegetarian Gourmet Delight, topped with creamy garlic sauce and your favorite fresh vegetables on a crispy, thin crust. And at just $11 for a large, all you need for this gourmet meal is a comfy spot on the couch. Order online at papamurphys.com. Love at 425 degrees.
This car wasn't made in Detroit, or Tokyo, or Mexico City. This, the Mini Clubman, was crafted in Oxford, England, a place where mass production isn't all that massive. And each car is engineered, customized, tuned, and crafted one at a time. Introducing the new Mini Clubman, made in Oxford.
Mini of Portland, proud sponsor of the Portland Thorns and Timbers 2. We make it fun.
There's do-it-yourself help, and then there's times when you need more. Introducing Providence Express Care. Get a same-day visit for the things you just can't treat at home. The sore throat that won't quit, that soccer sprain, the stomach ache that no pink drink can settle. We're here for you 7 days a week with extended hours to suit your life. Want fast care from folks who know health? That's Providence Express Care. Find the location nearest you today at providenceexpresscare.org.
Back at Merlot Field, Rio Grande Valley FC Toros, a 2-0 lead over Portland Timbers 2. Jake Zivin alongside Ross Smith. Ross, third straight match, going down 2-0 for T2. What did you make of the first 45?
I thought for T2 it was disappointing. It was disappointing just their inability to connect passes, to find openings consistently, because when they did get 5-6 passes together, they shifted RGV around the pitch and they were able to get through, and they were able to get into that final third. And we saw it with Arboleda, his opportunity at the very end. It just opened RGV right the way up, but just wasn't happening enough for Andrew Gregor's liking and for what I believe fans would have liked to have seen. But on the other side of it, RGV, I thought they were very good on the ball, similar to Houston Dynamo with Owen Coyle, that they're exciting. They'll look to push men on at times. The back line for T2 were having to deal with 4 attackers coming at them, and Escalante, he looks like he can offer something special. So I imagine there'll be changes with Andrew Gregor, whether that's tactics or whether it's personnel, but he won't be happy.
Highlights from the first half early on. Ross, Wade Hamilton was busy, and the T2 defense was certainly put to the task early in this match.
Well, that's Escalante coming in from his left-hand position, and he sees that space in behind, and Taylor Pay and Gallagher just on different pages there, who's going to drop, how high they are, and in the end, they recover from that opportunity. But you go back to this strike by Escalante, and what a hit it was. But I just feel that Hamilton, going back, I feel he should have done better. He should have pushed that ball out to the side instead of giving another opportunity. But he did get back to his feet. Unfortunately, from the ensuing corners, what we see this goal is a fantastic leap by Bourgeois that just takes him beyond. I believe it was Brent Richards trying to win that header, and what a goal that was.
And Marco Farfan there as well. That made it 1-0 Rio Grande Valley FC, and then the penalty kick, the foul in the 30th minute. It's Escalante drawing the PK.
Yeah, he does well just to go beyond Beasler, and then he gets into that box, and then there's always a worry. He's just looking for that contact as he brings the ball inside, and Brent Richards caught in two minds. He just dangles the leg, and from there, the penalty was well taken to take RGV 2 goals up.
Jenin Katic converting the penalty. Best chance of the first half for T2 came from William Bijev late.
Well, this one and another one I'm sure we'll see with Arboleda, but here with Bijev, the way he just takes that ball, he rides that challenge from the center back, and he gets his shot away, and he calls upon a fantastic save. And right near the end of the half, again, Arboleda clean through, but completely mishits the ball.
Big task for T2 coming up in the second half. We're back for the second half kick from Merlo Field.
The world is a curious place, full of puzzles still waiting to be solved. Stonehenge, the pyramids, Easter Island, and today, another enigma rises out of the clouds. Who is the face on the tail?
This car wasn't made in Detroit, or Tokyo, or Mexico City. This, the Mini Clubman, was crafted in Oxford, England, a place where mass production isn't all that massive. And each car is engineered, customized, tuned, and crafted one at a time. Introducing the new Mini Clubman, made in Oxford.
Mini of Portland, proud sponsor of the Portland Thorns and Timbers 2. We make it fun.
There's do-it-yourself health, and then there's times when you need more. Introducing Providence Express Care. Get a same-day visit for the things you just can't treat at home. The sore throat that won't quit, that soccer sprain, the stomach ache that no pink drink can settle. We're here for you 7 days a week with extended hours to suit your life. Want fast care from folks who know health? That's Providence Express Care. Find the location nearest you today at providenceexpresscare.org.
Tonight, home-baked Papa Murphy's Chicken Bacon Artichoke Gourmet Delight, topped with fresh spinach, grilled chicken, artichoke hearts, and bacon. Or try the Vegetarian Gourmet Delight, topped with creamy garlic sauce and your favorite fresh vegetables on a crispy, thin crust. And at just $11 for a large, all you need for this gourmet meal is a comfy spot on the couch. Order online at papamurphys.com. Love at 425 degrees.
Welcome back to Merlo Field, campus of University of Portland, as we get set for the second half kickoff. Portland Timbers 2 trails Rio Grande Valley FC 2-0 heading into the beginning of the second half. T2 has made one change, one substitution to begin this second half. Carlton Belmar, last year's USL Rookie of the Year, comes on for William Bijev. Rossi's got a ton of pace, and Andrew Greger looking for a spark up top from Carlton Belmar.
Well, it needed something, and I think with Belmar coming on, he offers something different up front. As you mentioned, his pace, he'll look to go in behind, and at times RGV, they felt comfortable that the ball wasn't going to be hitting behind them so they could creep up. Well, now you have the legs of Belmar coming on that pitch, and so you're hoping that he continues to run in those channels and to take that back line further towards their goalkeeper to open things up and to get on the ball and start playing and controlling the game.
Rio Grande Valley FC also has made a substitution at halftime. Jorginho James comes into the match. Colin Warner gets 45 minutes in his rehab start and is off at halftime. James for Warner, Belmar for Bijev, the substitutions at halftime. Malky lofts it forward. Gallagher with the head. Beasler tried to play Brett down the line, and it's out into touch.
The referee's just missed one there as Lewis has gone in against Kadic. Trying that get that ball as Kadic out-muscled Beasler to what looked to be getting away from him.
Belmar's first touch of the match. Lewis out to Farfan. Nico Brett. Kasipli. Arboleda. Nico Brett. It was promising, might still be there. Finally sent clear from RGV.
It's a good start, and Brett has done really well because he started this whole sequence and he just continues his run, and as he gets in that space, he uses his hand to point where he wants the ball. He just can't quite dig it out of his feet to get anywhere towards the goal.
Taylor Pay lofted forward. Malky with the head. Brett playing through. Andre Lewis couldn't quite handle it. Memo Rodriguez waiting for a run. Doesn't get it, and then just kind of lofts it over the top.
To be fair to Rodriguez, he didn't have many options as he was waiting for Kastner or Kadic to make a run for him. Both of them just stood watching.
Arboleda. Belmar. To the corner, trying to turn the corner. Belmar's cross is out for a goal kick.
That's all right as Belmar is getting on that ball. He's just trying to be the first man to that end line to put in a cross, and Andre Lewis, realizing Belmar had left the center of the pitch, he was getting a number in there in the box just in case that ball came in.
Get into the game through the USL's social media channels. Follow the USL on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram for news, live game updates, and video highlights from across the league. Kasipli intercepted by George Malky. Has Kastner on the right. Still, it's George Malky. Rodriguez. Back to Charlie Ward. Georgino James just into the match. Bradley Bourgeois scored the first ever goal in Rio Grande Valley FC history earlier tonight. Kasipli with a defensive header as Kadic was waiting for the ball to arrive. Brett sends forward. Kasipli. Beasler. Nick Beasler called for a foul.
You always look at the start of the second half just to see the reaction that players will have given the halftime talk from the coach, and you always know with Andrew Greger with his side, they're going to work, they're going to run themselves into the ground, and you can see just early on he's obviously gone in there and said to his players, you got to get on the ball, you got to be willing to accept it, because it does look more positive early on. They do look more at it.
Gallagher lofted for Brett. Keeps it in play. And a foul called on Sebastian Ibiaga. T2 goes quick. Kasipli. Farfan, a chance to cross. Driven into the box over Belmar's head. Only as far as Kasipli. Brett trying to turn, finally sent clear by Rio Grande Valley. Brett sent through. Carlton Belmar's got some pace. Still Belmar. Carlton Belmar cannot put that on goal.
Really show what he's about as he sees that space in behind, and it took him a second to get going, and Ibiaga just perhaps did enough to throw Carlton Belmar off and allowed his center back partner to come off and to put pressure on, as in the end it's a wayward hit by Carlton Belmar, nowhere near the goal.
Scored 12 goals last year, was the USL Rookie of the Year. Scored the first ever goal for T2 here at Merlot Field in their debut last March. Has come off the bench now for the first 3 matches of this season. He's going to get his longest run out tonight, coming on at halftime.
Just seeing with him, he's going to sit right in between the center backs and he'll play off that shoulder. So he can surprise you, he can come off towards the ball, and as a center back you're recovering or in behind. And again, there from Kisipli, he wanted that ball in behind.
Foul called on Jorginho James. Chipolo Street will show a yellow card first of the match.
James can't believe that call, as he feels as though he got the ball, but Beasley, he certainly gets there first. He's laid off the ball, and James comes in late and just catches Beasley from the side in that right ankle.
Gallagher driven into the corner. Arboleda will try to run it down. It skips out for a goal kick. Make Providence Park your next private event destination. Providence Park offers an exquisite banquet room, fully equipped conference center, luxury suites, and other unique stadium spaces. For more information about Providence Park private event spaces, please visit providenceparkpdx.com or call 503-553-5555.
Rather soft call by the referee, as Bourgeois is just coming in, or Ibiaga rather, coming in the back of T2 player, and the referee, that's a couple now. The referee's gone quick to the whistle.
Brett puts it into the box. Mulkey sends clear. Rodriguez has Kastner on the right, puts it into space. Foot race between Kastner and Gallagher, and Taylor Pay at the last minute comes back to beat them both to the ball.
He had to get it, Taylor Pay. He made the decision. He wasn't about to wait to see if Gallagher had enough pace to get there, and Pay didn't get there. He left his mark in the middle, so in the end, a good decision.
Escalante on his left foot, loves that left foot. Already drew a PK coming into the box tonight, is not as threatening on this occasion.
You can see the fear that it put into Brent Richards, the memory of the first half with him pulling down Escalante, because as soon as Escalante got the ball, he had about 5 yards to run into and to gain that pace. And so Brent Richards, in the end, you've got a full steam attacker coming at you. It's a very horrible position to be in as a defender.
5, and rest.
Pay into space. Too far for Nico Brett. Bourgeois, Escalante. Katic. Now Kastner. Rodriguez. Nice turn by Memo Rodriguez. Slips Escalante to the byline. And that'll be a goal kick for T2.
Brent Richards did well to recover as RGVFC did brought their numbers inside the center area, right around that 18-yard line. We're combining well, and Rodriguez, a nice little flick just to take him away from the T2 player and put it into space, but Brent Richards recognized it, got himself across to make that block. Just waiting for an identity to be formed in the second half and to see how T2 are going to go about finding openings in the game. You want to see more from Nick Beasler getting on the ball. Seth Kasipli, you want to see more from him as well. Nico Brett, I thought in the first half, the times where he got himself wide, he got himself on that touchline and ball to feet, start running at defenders. Things were happening with Farfan looking to overlap at times. And just there, that's a very difficult ball for Andre Lewis to put Nick Beasler in.
Flag was up for offside. Took a little bit to get recognized, but it was the correct call. Ibiaga drives it forward. Falls to Hamilton. Farfan has some space to come forward. Plays through, looking for Belmar. He went down as he slipped past Ibiaga. Isn't going to get that call.
There's a couple times in this game now, Farfan, he's seen that pass, which I would say is a big positive, because that's a difficult ball to see where you're just running on, you're at full tilt, and you've seen that ball in behind that center back where the striker's gone in between the two, and it's just a nice little curler to go in behind. It hasn't come off yet, but the fact that he's seen it.
Bourgeois uses his pace down the left side. All the way back to Devin Perales. James. Memo Rodriguez. Farfan steps in, knocks it away. Malky, the right back coming forward. Still George Malky. Taken away by T2 momentarily, and then the shot from Escalante, who's drifted over to the right side, is not on net. T2 is making a substitution, and it'll be the professional debut for Christian Duarte as he comes on for Seth Kasipli. Duarte, 22 years old, spent the last 4 seasons in college at Cal State Bakersfield, was all-conference, all-region last year. Spent some time when he was younger with the youth national teams. Is now making his pro debut for T2.
I think Coach Andrew Gregerson needs more going forward. And Duarte.
Arboleda, does he have the pace to get there before Perales? He does not. Devin Perales gets there first.
Duarte looks as though he'll play at the top of a triangle, the middle three, or at least the furthest ahead between Beasler, Lewis, and himself.
Scored 6 goals, had 2 assists last year for Cal State Bakersfield. Escalante goes down.
Yes, a nice little slipped-in ball behind it. Very similar to last week against Vancouver Whitecaps too, but the goalkeeper for RGV, he's read it well. few times that Perales has been called upon, he's done well. First, a save in the first half against Bijev, and in that moment there, I always think it's difficult for a keeper where you're not called into action so much, but when you are, to stay mentally sharp in games.
Bourgeois, still Bourgeois, looking for another. It was blocked. T2 still unable to get it clear. Beasler gave it right to Escalante, and finally Gallagher gets it clear, but it's out for an RGV throw.
That's where you talk about composure and your awareness in those moments where T2, they're looking to clear it instead of just putting it into an area to connect a pass. So that first pass into possession, it gets the team going and gets your team up the pitch.
T2 wants to make another substitution, and they will. Ben Polk comes on for Victor Arboleda. Ben Polk, the first-round draft pick of the Timbers, 20th overall, last pick of the first round in the 2016 Super Draft, comes into the match. Victor Arboleda comes off.
We saw the pace of Arboleda a couple times in this match, but again, I think that rawness, he's going to need time to develop that final piece and to get his feet nice and clean so he can have that finishing product to his game.
Belmar trying to get in between two RGV defenders is unable to. Jorginho James comes forward now.
James for RGV look quite the size in that center of midfield.
6'2", 186, 21 years old, already has been capped 3 times by Jamaica. Previously with Harborview FC in his home country. Kastner. Katic trying to turn. Tried to leave it for Memo Rodriguez. Couldn't get to it. Duarte gets around James, and then Lewis in the midfield, and he slots through for Belmar. He's going to be one-on-one with Perales. Carlton Belmar saved by Perales. A glorious chance for T2. They can't convert.
He needs to score. What a difference that would make with the amount of time left. 2-0 down, clean through on goal.
Maybe still there for T2. Ben Polk leaves it. Didn't get to Lewis. Brent Richards from distance put it wide.
Well, that seems to have lifted the entire T2 team as Duarte gets out of a situation, then plays it to Lewis, who finds the ball through the legs, a nice little nutmeg, and then to spring Belmar loose. And for him getting in that position, you have to give praise to Perales for coming out and cutting down the angle, but a striker clean through on goal, no defenders barreling down on you, coming up behind. You got to pick your spot, and you got to stroke that ball home to cut the lead in half.
Last year in June, Devin Perales was the starting goalkeeper for the Austin Aztecs. Saw a streaking Carlton Belmar coming at him, brought him down inside the box. It was a red card for Perales, a PK for T2 in a match that ended 3-1 T2. Perales sent off in the first half of that match. He's certainly going to like his second trip to Merlo Field much better than that first one a year ago.
Well, the youngster Duarte, he's going to be encouraged from his first real involvement in the game as he got the ball and he had a couple players around him, but he got out of it. He didn't panic. He didn't put in.
Farfan left it into the path of Escalante. Allowed a great chance for Katic. Hamilton came up big. Kastner's shot is blocked out. It was almost 3-0, and Wade Hamilton once again keeping T2 in a match.
Well, it's a great run and a great ball to slip in as Katic was just looking to pull the trigger as Hamilton, his reactions again and his pace to come off his line and to stay big and to read the position of Katic, of his follow through to see where that ball was going to go. He did very well.
Duarte, Lewis steps forward and around his countryman James, trying to find a fellow Jamaican, Nico Brett, who was broken up. Now here comes Jorginho James.
He's looking for that pass to slip through in between players, isn't he? It's come off once now. He's tried it a couple of other times, but seems to be on with that pace, obviously going in behind.
You mentioned in the first half, RGV's been playing a high line, and with the pace of guys like Belmar and Brett, now Polk, previously Arboleda, it seems like it would have been there more tonight. We finally see them breaking through. Saw it at the end of the first half, and now with Belmar's opportunity.
Well, for that opportunity to be on where that space is in behind your midfielders, or whether it's at the back, they've got to be able to get on the ball and pick their head up and be able to pick out that pass as well. And I think that was the struggle in the first half for T2, is their midfielders weren't getting on the ball enough, and then when they weren't picking the right option, or they had their head down and they weren't looking forward to try and spring those passes.
Brent Richards whistled for a foul.
In these moments, this is where you can't let the momentum drop or shift back to RGV, because I would say the second half so far, T2, they've looked the brighter, they've looked more like it at times. Certainly looked better than what they did in the first half, and say they'd feel as though they should be at least 2-1.
We saw that last week against Vancouver as well. T2, after going down, created some chances and looked dangerous, but couldn't finish. A couple chances, got one goal, but couldn't come back from what was then a 3-1 hole. Taylor Pay botches a clearance. It's still in the area. It's still not out of there yet. Finally, Pay makes up for it, brings it forward, sends it wide to Ben Polk. Duarte pushed down by George Malky, no call.
Previous to that, Duarte just, again, with seemingly ease, bringing the ball down. He used to be very technical, very happy taking in the ball and comfortable with it.
Jorginho James has space. Sends wide for Escalante. Wants it on his left foot, cuts inside, cross to the back post. Richards gets ahead to it. Lewis gets it to Belmar at midfield, but Belmar can't bring it down. It's all the way back to Perales.
Needs to look after that. Belmar is a chance for him to take a strong touch and get into space.
RGV whistled for a foul, and they'll now make a substitution. Kai Green will come into the match. Bradley Bourgeois will leave the match after scoring the first goal in Rio Grande Valley FC history. Came in the 18th minute, and it gave RGV at the time a 1-0 lead.
He's obviously gotten on the score sheet, but Bourgeois, I think he handled Arboleda quite well. Arboleda was on the pitch. Bourgeois, he didn't allow him to get away from him, didn't allow him to run off, and he stayed with him.
Third substitution for Rio Grande Valley. Both teams have used 3 substitutions. In USL, you're allowed 5, so 2 more possibilities from both of these squads. Farfan into Polk, back to Marco Farfan. Farfan into the box, cut it back. A chance for Nico Brett, it was blocked. We've seen Farfan get forward more tonight than his previous 2 matches, I think.
And it looks as though he's grown in confidence with every time that he's getting forward. And there, the ball slightly behind him as it was returned to him from Polk, but he was able to get it out of his feet and still get that cross in.
Just 17 years old, a junior at Centennial High School here in Portland, member of the Portland Timbers Academy, has started all 3 matches for T2 this season. Emphasis heading into the 2016 season for T2 was to get younger, They have certainly done that. They want to give guys like Marco Farfan in the academy a little more run, a little more experience this season than last year. Blake Bodley saw some time, but that was the only significant amount of playing time for an academy player a year ago. Now Farfan, who was on the ball, starting 3 times. Bodley is dealing with an injury now. We expect to see him once he's healthy at some point this summer. Terrell Lowe has already played this year. Another possibility. It's out for a T2 throw. And Lowe is on the bench tonight as well. Ben Polk. Farfan. That's off of Polk. Be a throw for RGV. Polk takes it away. Duarte back to Polk. The offside flag is up.
Well, Ben Polk gets the ball back, he reads it, and then he's just looking to find his way and space in as it's bounced off Duarte. And by that time, Polk had drifted into the offside position. Duarte, he's getting in those spots, and I think RGV, they're perhaps missing a bit of Warner, his experience and his presence in the center of midfield, because T2 are finding a bit more of the midfield and more control.
4th substitution for Rio Grande Valley. Emilio Garcia comes on. Jose Escalante, who drew a penalty kick tonight, comes off. Duarte. Andre Lewis. Lewis tries to curl it. That was pretty close. Had Perales beat, but couldn't quite sneak it in.
Well, seemingly every time Duarte's gotten on the ball, he's making things happen, and how he picked out the pass for Lewis was great. Bit of vision, and from there, Lewis, he's just opened up the hips, and you see what he's intended. He's trying to go for that far corner, and it didn't miss by much. Perales was certainly worried as he was scrambling across, trying to get any part of his body there.
Farfan comes inside, his confidence growing as his experience has grown. Gets it back from Duarte. Broken up.
He knows himself, but that's poor from Beasler. The angle was never on for him to hit that side foot of his right peg. He missed the initial opportunity to spray it out wide, and then from there, they just think he needed to shift it onto his left peg to find that passing lane. But T2 are doing a good job at when they're giving back possession to make sure that they're pressing and they're getting up the pitch, and so it's not long that RGV get to sit on the ball and enjoy it.
Second half has certainly been more promising for T2 than the first half. Ben Polk coming forward. Tried to get it to Farfan. Polk still has it. Now gets it to Marco Farfan. Flicked it on to Christian Duarte. Duarte turns well. Picks out Nico Brett. Andre Lewis. Shot blocked from distance.
Just would have liked to see Duarte continue on towards that line and see what would have happened as the defense would have been collapsing for RGV.
Again, ball sent straight into touch. Well, competing here in the USL, the highest level U.S. soccer league supporting Major League Soccer, Portland Timbers 2, T2 is your chance to see the future stars of the Timbers first team today. Secure your seats with a 10-ticket flex plan for just $95. Get it now by visiting timbers2.com. George Malky down for Rio Grande Valley FC.
Just wonder he was clutching the knee, whether it was a spot of cramp, but didn't look to be on contact for him to come across a player.
Looks like his day will be done as he takes a seat in front of the bench. RGV is gonna bring on their fifth and final substitution of the night. Ivan Magales will enter when he's allowed. He's not allowed yet. You're gonna have to wait for another stoppage for this substitution to be official. So T2 briefly now playing 11 on 10. Duarte has drifted over to the right side. And now the substitution will be allowed. Ivan Magales to make his RGV debut. He's a second-round pick of the Houston Dynamo. Signed with RGV. RGV coming forward. Farfan takes a dangerous touch. Kadic almost took advantage. Rodriguez sent in a touch by Polk. RGV will take its time to take the throw. And it's an illegal throw. Second time tonight we've seen that called, Ross.
Don't see that very often. The ref wasn't happy. He says he told him where the position was and to go no further.
Emilio Garcia trying to slip Kadic through, was unable to. It's kind of an unwritten rule of soccer. Throw-ins normally taken probably 10 yards further down the field than where the ball went out of play.
You always look to get a little bit extra.
Beasler over the top looking for Belmar. Perales gets it at the end.
There's still time for T2 as they've shown a lot more promise this second half, and they've shown that they can find openings and they can create chances. If they're just a little bit more clinical, I look back to that chance again by Arboleda, then right now at 2-1 they'd be continuing to press, and you just wonder the nerves that would have come in to RGV just knowing that they were only one goal the better.
Yeah, Belmar's as well. Belmar and Arboleda finished what are really one-on-ones, threw in on goal. It's a much different match.
That's a good ball from Gallagher, but Belmar, he's dug that out. But he's come back. He was in between the lines. He was in between that pocket between the midfield and the defense, but then he's dribbled back in front of the midfield for RGV, and you think, well, that pass has gone through and it's cut through that midfield. Can you turn and start to look up the pitch instead of coming back towards your own goal? It's little things like that that I think in McGregor has been going to the training ground to work on, which makes such a big difference. And to that situation with Belmar, if he turns up the pitch, all of a sudden, now you're barreling down, that back four is backing off, and you start to get runners, and you get up that pitch for your team.
Lewis, T2, under a lot of pressure. Now a foul called on Memo Rodriguez.
A late challenge by Rodriguez as Lewis was just looking to switch that point of attack. Get the fans involved.
Gallagher driving it into the seats. It is an intimate setting here at Merlot Field. Wilmer Cabrera having a talk down the bench. The field just yards away. You can see how close the stands are to the touch line. It's really a great place to watch a match. You can hear so much more that's going on. It's a different experience than at a Providence Park or than a bigger stadium.
I think what you appreciate right away is the pace of the players and how quick the speed of the game is. And when you get down right on the pitch level, how much effort is being put in, how the tackles can go flying in, and how difficult it is to find space at times because you have such young athletic legs out there on the pitch that it's amazing how quickly the space gets eaten up.
Kastner trying to get through Richards and Beasler. Finally, Beasler takes it away. Still not out of this pressure yet. T2 is able to break, but they find space on the left side. Marco Farfan coming forward. Ben Polk.
See, Farfan's got a touch of cramp from the running he's done. He's certainly been getting in the attack a lot more this second half.
Lewis spins through three players, gets it wide to Brett. Back to Andre Lewis. He'll be caught between two ideas there. Lewis gets it back. Brett chipped in towards Duarte. Beasler heads it back towards Duarte, trying to turn. Taken away by James.
Will be interesting to see how RGV manage this game if they see it out. Because they haven't been able to get a hold of that ball for the spells that we saw in the first half where they had the better of the possession and they were getting numbers moving about.
Farfan wins it back for T2. Now Belmar. Broken up. And now Rio Grande Valley gets on the ball. Katic carries forward.
He just took it to an area Katic was waiting for any kind of contact to come his way.
Hay comes sliding over, had to get to it, and he did get there first. Wins a throw.
Strong, just hobbling up a little bit, but was a good sliding, strong challenge coming in. It's one he had to make, as you mentioned, Jake, because Brent Richards had popped the ball in and he was looking to continue his run.
Farfan cuts inside and hits it to Polk.
I think those are the frustrating moments as a manager where those passes are going a yard or two away, and you're having to remember it is that process, and it's still only 3 games into the season, that while you expect the levels to certainly be a lot more, and you never want to give the excuse to players, you do have to be reminded of that process.
Belmar draws a free kick. T2 will make a substitution now. Right before this free kick, it'll be the Timbers 2 debut for Alexis Meva, who comes on for Marco Farfan. Meva, an 18-year-old, comes from the FC Barcelona Academy. Joined FC Barcelona at the age of 10 in 2008. He's originally from Cameroon.
He doesn't lack confidence. I've seen him in 11v11 with the first team at training, and he's willing to drift inside and demand the ball off first-team players for the Timbers. And so I thought right away, this player has something about him that he wants to be able to show off on the biggest stage of what he has on offer right now, which is the training pitch with the first team.
Taylor Pay has gone down as well, and Anthony Manning on the bench jogs over. Pay came up limping a little bit after that last challenge, and now Taichi Kitagawa is checking out the ankle of Taylor Pay. Keep up to date with the USL all season long by visiting the new USLsoccer.com for everything you need to know about the USL.
Teich is just on the microphone back to the bench, just giving a diagnosis of what he feels right now in the situation, whether Pay can continue.
He's going to walk to the side. And T2 will take this restart opportunity. 88th minute, not much time left to try to get something out of this match.
That's a high line by RGV right away.
Sent into the box. It was a chance for Richards. He put it over the bar. You saw the high line.
Wow.
Richards and Belmar both got behind it. And Richards puts it over the bar.
They got behind the line. The ball was just slightly behind Richards, or slightly above, I should say, rather, as he's just can't get the leap up above the ball to be able to get over and direct it towards the goal. But that line, just worryingly high for RGV, and that was the ball that you needed, was just to go in behind.
Here's Alexis Meva, combines with Duarte. Belmar slipped through, and T2 will have a corner kick now as we approach the 90th minute of this match. Duarte over the ball, floated to the back post. Perales punches clear. Brett runs it down. Cross is blocked and defended well by Rio Grande Valley.
It was a strong punch by Perales, but just wondering whether he could have caught that ball. He didn't have bodies around him, and it's one going on the ability that we've seen of him tonight, that he should be able to handle and take all the pressure off of his team.
Hasn't had a ton to do tonight, Devin Perales, but has been quick off his line and came up big on a Carlton Belmar chance in the 64th minute when Belmar was through alone on goal.
That could prove to be a big moment in the match, where if Belmar scores that goal, if Perales doesn't make that save, 2-1, it can change things completely.
3 minutes of stoppage time shown by the fourth official, and RGV will have a restart. Catch U.S. stars Tobin Heath and Megan Klingenberg, University of Portland grad Christine Sinclair, and the rest of the Portland Thorns this season. Guarantee your spot with a special 10-ticket flex plan for just $120, the ultimate in flexibility and convenience. Visit thornsfc.com to secure your tickets now. Yellow card shown to Carlton Belmar. Assumed for an intentional handball, Ross. It was difficult to tell. What do you think?
Just wonder whether it was the challenge. The ball got away from Belmar as his first touch is heavy. And it's that studs up. As he goes in, he doesn't quite catch. I believe it was James, but he's shown the studs, and whether it was a slight little nick, the ref has deemed it enough for a booking.
So Belmar into the book for the first time this season. Not much time left. Mava loves the ball at his feet. Lewis into space for Ben Polk. And Ben Polk called for a foul.
You see Mava, he gets on that ball and he just wants to get up the pitch. Wants to turn upfield and start to weave in and out of players, and whether he has to use other teammates to help him get to those spots. I have to say that T2, they've grown into this match with their comfort levels, and you have to remember at this pro level, now you're playing in front of crowds who are paying to come watch you play. There's a whole set of nerves that comes with that, and I think that's one that you go back to that process and the growing pains that you have to go through. Is you get over those nerves and you get over that that anxiety, you could say, for players becoming professionals for the first time. And then once you get over that, you start to see the quality come up. But you got to give credit to RGV FC, because the first half they dominated, they took their chances, and T2, while they had a couple of opportunities to score goals tonight, they didn't take them.
It's a third straight loss for T2 to start the 2016 season. It's the first win in the history of Rio Grande Valley FC. Look back on this match. We'll begin early in the first half, Ross. A chance for Rio Grande Valley FC. Ultimately, Taylor Pay comes up with a block.
What was that? Space in behind that Escalante got in, and Hamilton made a good decision to come out. And on this one, I just thought Hamilton, he could have done better, but he makes up for that initial save where he's put it back into an area, and he's made that double save. Just see how quick he gets up, and he realizes that ball is very close to going in the back of the net, and it springs to action.
Ensuing corner kick, the first goal in the history of Rio Grande Valley FC, Bradley Bourgeois.
Yeah, but he took it well as he just rose above the mark of Brent Richards, as Brent Richards didn't get the header, and Brent Richards on the wrong end of things again as he just dangles a leg.
Jenin Katic converts from the spot. That made it 2-0, and it was the 31st minute of the match. William Bijev had an opportunity late in the first half. It was saved by Devin Perales.
Yeah, good strong save by Perales and Bijev. We want to see more of him, but this was a little bit about what the striker can offer, just rolling the center back and getting his shot away.
Second half now, this was a beautiful build-up. Probably should have been 2-1, Ross. Paralis ultimately, probably the moment of the match.
Just wonder whether Belmar was trying to go in between the legs. But again, a good build-up. Duarte started it off. I thought he looked very promising when he came on, and it springs Belmar in. And in the end, it's Paralis' legs that, to his credit, he stays on his feet to the last second.
Rio Grande Valley FC a chance to make it 3. Wade Hamilton again coming up big. He's done that many times this season.
Yeah, it's a good run. Caltegaz, he just gets in behind, and Hamilton, he reads it, he gets off his line and keeps the game from going 3-0.
T2 had a couple kind of half chances late. Andre Lewis curled it just wide in the 73rd. There was another free kick late, but just ultimately couldn't get it going again tonight, I think, in the attack. It's been slow to start. The attack has been in 2016.
Well, I think if Andrew Gregor had that second half in the first half, then you would have seen the team continue to progress. And if you start that second half at the start of the game, then all of a sudden there's a lot more excitement, the confidence is there, and I think with all those chances, it's a different halftime talk, but just so slow from T2 to start the match. And I think Andrew Gregor will rue that slow start for them, and that contributed to their loss tonight.
T2's right back here at Merlot Field next weekend. Sunday, April 17th, a 2 p.m. start against Sacramento Republic FC. You can get tickets at timbers2.com. You'll be able to watch right here on timbers2.com, uslsoccer.com as well. Portland Timbers 2. Third straight loss to begin the 2016 season. Rio Grande Valley FC first win in its history, 2-0, the final for Merlot Field. For Ross Smith, for our entire crew out here at the University of Portland, I'm Jake Zivin. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.